see. Hi guys, welcome back to XCOM 2 War of the Chosen modded core collection. We're gonna take out the last boss, see how it goes from there.
It was recently announced that Crooked Joe is now giving Obamacare and all free government health care to illegal aliens. You know what? They get treated better than our military. They get treated better than our own citizens. Every penny of Biden's plan will be funded by American citizens, taken out of your pockets, your paychecks, your wallets. It's taken. What they're doing is crazy. This country cannot afford this. We can't afford it. We all have a big heart. We want to take care of people, but it's not sustainable. We won't have a country any longer. I will be, and it will be, the highest taxes we've ever had to pay, the highest premiums we've ever had to pay, and much longer waits to see your doctors. That's what's happening. It's happening with your schools. Kids are occupying your schools. They're taking the chairs of your own students and your own family members, your children, and they're just not giving them back. And they don't speak English. They're sitting in chairs listening to a teacher talking English, and they don't speak English. And it will be Biden's border invasion will become even more. The world floods over in search of all of these government benefits that we're giving people that come in illegally. And they're coming in illegally because of the benefits in addition to other reasons. According to a new study, illegal immigration is already costing New Jersey residents $7.3 billion every single year. That's $2,100 per household, more than any state anywhere in the country. And it comes and it stops the spending on bridges, roads, New Jersey Transit, and all of those other things that we need. Day one of the Trump administration, we will cut off all of Biden's taxpayer giveaways to illegal aliens.
Where he is.
The invasion is not stopped. It will also demolish Medicare and Social Security. It cannot survive. It cannot survive 20 million people coming into the country. We will take care of Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. We will take care of everything. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any country in the world.
Sectoids.
We've got so much money, we're going to take care of it. We don't have to destroy our Social Security and other programs. We've also gotten abortion out of the federal government and back to the states, the way everybody and all legal scholars always said it should be. I think it's very important because it's a very dividing issue, and it's an issue that we've worked very hard on. I have, and some states will like it one way and another way, but everybody has always wanted it for 52 years brought back into the states, and that's what's happened. It's now up to the will of the people in each state. Some states will be more conservative and others will be more liberal, but the people will now decide, and that's the way that everybody has always wanted to be. Every legal scholar, some will be conservative, some will be more liberal, some will have more weeks than others, or many more weeks. Others won't have.
Excellent. I got a good lineup here.
Decided. We took it out of the federal government. Every legal scholar, every Democrat, for the most part at the time, for years they've been trying to do it. If the radical Democrat extremists get their way, they will have a federal law on abortion in the 8th and 9th month, and even executing the baby after birth. It's okay. They want to execute the baby. They have, as you look at the governor, the former governor of Virginia, execute the baby after birth. We will decide, you remember. But you can't do that at the 8th month and the 9th month. They are the radical ones. Every voter has got to go with his heart and do what's right. But you also remember, you have elections. You have to get elected. So I want to just thank the 6 Supreme Court justices, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, John Roberts, Brett Kavanaugh, Neil Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barrett, for the wisdom and the courage they showed on this long-term, very contentious issue. Getting it back to the states puts the question where it belongs with a vote of the people, and over time it will work out, and it already is working out, and the country is starting to come together on this unbelievably contentious issue. So in addition, we're going to do a lot of other things, but that's something we had to do. We had to do it. And again, for 52 years, they wanted to bring that issue back to the states. It never belonged in the hands of the federal government. And if you take a look at Ohio, they just voted a different vote than people thought. Much more liberal, you would say. Much more, as they would say, progressive. I use the word liberal. Kansas, the same thing. But that's the way it is. And it's something that we should cherish. We were able to do something that nobody was able to do. And it's all starting to come together. The issue of abortion. In addition, we're going to give back our police. We're going to give them back the protection and the respect that they need. We're going to give them immunity so they don't get sued and lose their families, lose their homes, lose their pensions. And we will stand up to radical Marxist DAs like Soros-funded DA in Philadelphia, Larry Krasner.
I can handle that.
Who has set loose thousands of dangerous criminals onto the streets that go around killing people. I will also stop Joe Biden's sinister plan to abolish the suburbs. He's trying to abolish the suburbs in your state, and we're not going to let him do it. Crooked Joe is trying to obliterate single-family zoning in New Jersey and every other state and force you to pay for the construction of ultra-dense housing projects in beautiful residential neighborhoods where your house is. He will destroy your property value. He will destroy your wealth. He will let it happen. He wants it to happen. He's already getting ready to sign legislation to let that happen. We're not going to let him destroy New Jersey and Pennsylvania and all of these other places that people are very happy and they work hard to live there. And we will end it on day one. We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they've ever been before. We will take over the horrible run capital of our nation, Washington, D.C., and clean it up, renovate it, rebuild our capital city so that it no longer is a nightmare of murder and crime. People are being murdered there on a weekly basis, but rather it will become the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world. We're going to fix it, renovate it, and make it free of crime. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, and political content onto the lives of our children. I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. And I will keep men out of women's sports. How would you like to be a woman in a woman's team and have to play something against LT?
Copy that.
This is not going to work out well. I will fully uphold the Second Amendment. We will protect innocent life and we will restore free speech. And I will secure our elections. We have to secure our elections. Our goal would be one-day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and voter ID. Very simple. And we have honest. But until then, Republicans must win. We have to win this election coming up. We want a landslide. And frankly, there's an expression I've been using. You've got to make it too big to rig. If we win by enough, doesn't matter. They can't do it. So if you want to save America, register, get an absentee or mail-in ballot, vote early, or vote on election day. It doesn't matter. But whatever you do, you must get out and vote. This year, election season begins on September 16th and goes all the way to November 5th. So it's not like just November 5th. It goes to November 5th. This is going to be the most important election in the history of our country. We will protect your ballot, but you must do your part. You must get your ballot in. We have to win. And if you can, donate to cancel out the money. You have to. Look, if you can't donate, don't donate. You got to take care of yourselves. But if you can, do whatever you can for the Republican Party, because what they do is they raise so much money through different groups that are not groups that are on our side. So in conclusion, together we're taking on some of the most menacing forces and vicious opponents of our our people have ever seen. We've never seen anything like what's happening in our great country. And I really have to say, in our once great country, because right now our country is not a great country. It's a country that's in trouble, big trouble. But no matter how hateful and corrupt the communists and criminals we're fighting against may be, you must never forget this nation does not belong to this. This nation doesn't belong to them. This nation belongs to, you know who? You. It belongs to you. This is your home. This is your heritage. And our American liberty is your God-given right. From Morristown to Mount Laurel, from Patterson to Pennington, and from Ocean City to Sea Isle to right here in Wildwood, New Jersey. It's been home to some of the toughest, smartest, and most talented Americans ever to walk the face of the earth, right here. This is the state that pioneered the boardwalk, the diner, the motion picture, and gave the world American legends like Thomas Edison, Buzz Aldrin, Frank Sinatra, and so many more. New Jersey is where General George Washington led the army to victory in Trenton and Princeton. And this is where generations of New Jersey patriots helped build this country into the single greatest nation in the history of the world. But now, we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, it's lost its willpower, and it's lost its strength. We are a nation that has quite simply lost its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and it's hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. You're going to save our country. We're going to save it during this election period, during this election that goes for so long. Elections used to be one day, now they're going for 60 days, 61 days. Bad things happen. We're going to save our country. We will fight for America like no one has ever fought before. 2024 is our final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country, and we will rout the fake news media. We will drain the swamp. And we will liberate our country from these tyrants and villains. Once and for all, we are going to liberate our country. We're going to take back our country. Like those patriots before us, we will not bend, we will not break, we will not yield, we will never give in. We will never give up, and we will never, ever, ever back down. With your support, we will go on to victory, the likes of which no one has ever seen before, and we will evict. Look at Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country. From the White House, we're going to evict this man, the worst president by far. Jimmy Connors is good. He's also happy. Jimmy is a very happy man, both of them, because you know what? They want him out. Jimmy Carter had a bad reputation. Right now, he's considered a totally brilliant president by comparison. Right now, he is a totally brilliant president by comparison. Joe Biden.
Oh boy.
Joe Biden's the worst in history. We have to get him out. We will not have a country left. If we have to go through years of this, even 5 months left, it's too much. It's a real possibility that they can't handle it. The great silent majority is rising like never before, and under our leadership, the forgotten man and woman will be forgotten no longer.
And it's
One movement, one people, one family, and one beautiful, glorious nation under God. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. God bless you all. Let's win this state. We're going to win it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, how about that?
Well, you've just been watching former President Trump at a massive rally down in Wildwood, New Jersey, where there's crowds of tens of thousands of people. Some people have even been camping out for days to make sure that they have that spot. There may have been some vulgarity throughout it, so for that we do apologize, but you can certainly see how energetic the crowd was. Everyone was excited to be there, and as I said, people were camping out. I want to go now to Brian Yanis, who is there live in Wildwood, New Jersey for more. Hey, Brian.
Hey, well, former President Trump was in top form today, definitely feeding off of the energy of this crowd. And like you said, we spoke to some folks who were here Wednesday even to try to get a spot, and they stayed here for hours in what is now chilly weather. Congressman Jeff Page of New Jersey said this is the largest political rally in New Jersey history. We'll see, there were definitely tens of thousands, perhaps 30,000. We were wondering whether or not the former president was going to talk about, well, the case in New York, whether or not he was going to talk about Stormy Daniels or Michael Cohen. He didn't, but he said this about the case. Listen. Why didn't they do it 9 years ago, as an example? Or 8 years ago? They could have done it many, many years ago. And they waited till the election. They waited right into the middle of the election. You don't do that to your opponent. You don't do that to your political opponent. It's done in third world countries. It's done in banana republic. It's not done in the United States of America.
This world is mine.
Big two topics: inflation and immigration. Guys, back to you.
Thanks so much, Brian. You know, he may not have been able to talk about the case much for the gag order in place, as we know, but he did touch on electric vehicle mandates, economy, anti-Semitism, border crime, national security, basic law, abortion, healthcare, and even women's sports. I mean, Charlie, he covered a lot.
Yeah, he sure did, and pointed out that most women are probably not going to want to play against somebody like Lawrence Taylor. Probably accurate. No, that was an amazing speech. Spoke for an hour and a half. City officials, town officials told the Associated Press there's 100,000 people there. As you pointed out, people camped out overnight. This is why Democrats are terrified of Donald Trump. This is why they will stop at nothing to stop him, because there is no Democrat, no politician today who can draw like Donald Trump draws. And a speech like that, which is entertaining, he's at the beach, in the fairgrounds, sun shining on his face. He can do it in a way that keeps people's attention for an hour and a half. And that is serious political power. And I think Democrats literally don't know what to do about it. So the best shot they have is to try to fight him in court.
Yeah, undoubtedly. And Joey, the one thing that when you see President Biden come out and some of his campaign stuff, what he does is he simply says everything's great, Bidenomics working, everything's going wonderfully. But then President Trump comes out and he actually hits on things that people are afraid of that's going on. Let's listen to a few of them.
There's so many people here. Man, over 100,000 people. Even of the haters, they said this may be the biggest rally they've ever seen. We are going to officially play in the state of New Jersey. We're going to win the state of New Jersey. On day one, we will throw on Bidenomics and we will reinstate Maganomics. From the very first day that we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden, I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country.
Yeah, Joey, polling will tell you, as well as just kitchen table conversations, will tell you that the cost of living is high for people. And so for President Biden to continue to tell people that Bidenomics is great, President Trump here is talking to the American people.
Yeah, I have to imagine most people watching this right now watch the majority of this rally. You listed a laundry list of issues he touched on. He also talked about Mother's Day, Jimmy Carter, and golf. I mean, he covered it all. But the fact is, if you're running against Joe Biden, with or without Trump's previous record, the menu is so vast. I mean, it's like going to your favorite restaurant. There's so many things that you can choose from and drill down on. He did a fantastic job on a lot of issues, but there's so much there. He even had to kind of gloss over some of the bigger ones at the end. And so what does that tell you? That tells you that he's very popular, but he has a lot to run on. In this country right now, we reward politicians that tell you what's broken, and Trump has a lot to tell you that's broken. And I think from the celebrities on stage to a Democrat congressman turned Republican. The idea that doesn't appeal to moderates or people that are undecided or maybe people that aren't super tuned in, that's crazy. Of course it appeals to them.
Well, and Lisa, to Joey's point, I mean, he's in the district where the congressman was formerly Democratic, turned Republican. Here we are in New Jersey. Well, we're in New York, but he's in New Jersey. And essentially, New Jersey is historically blue when it comes to presidential elections. They have had red governors. But here we are under Phil Murphy in New Jersey, and taxes on gas, property, income have all gone up. President Trump is appealing to these voters. What do you think?
Well, we saw a triumphant Donald Trump. I mean, this is a guy who has had arrows thrown at him. I mean, Democrats have tried to put him in jail, bankrupt him. And he's not only is he still standing, but he's on top, right? He's winning right now in the polls. You mentioned New Jersey, the state that he was speaking from, that he's in currently. Look, he lost by 16 in 2020, but if you look at an Emerson College poll from earlier last month, he's only down by 7 in a head-to-head contest. And then when you include third-party candidates or potential third-party candidates, he's only down by 5. So a 9-point swing is significant when you look at that head-to-head. And as a political nerd, it has me asking, what states are going to be in play this election cycle? You look at sort of like the more conventional 7 swing states, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina likely as well. But Team Trump put out a memo saying, look, Minnesota is in play, Virginia is in play, Joe Biden's trying to eye Florida, but that's a joke because registered Republicans outnumber Democrats by 900,000, so good luck, Joe Biden there. So, what will this electoral map end up looking like after November?
And the fact that he's actually doing a rally like this in a place like New Jersey, I think, says a lot about how aggressive they're trying to be on. One other point that is worth noting, that I think probably what will be the sort of newsiest item out of this is the fact that apparently North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum and his wife Catherine flew with Trump into Wildwood. Yeah. And he talked about the fact that this is a guy who made his money in technology but knows more about energy than anybody else I know, and then turned to the stage and said, get ready for something, just get ready. Yeah. So anybody who's watching the Veep sweepstakes, I think that was a pretty significant. And he was very impressive in the debates. I mean, he really was. I didn't know who he was, and then he was very impressive there. And the fact that he is so knowledgeable about energy is going to be so important. That is one of the issues that Trump beats Biden on so badly is energy.
But think about this moment we are in American history, where we have a predecessor and successor running against each other. And Donald Trump, he just went through all of the wins that he had when he was president. And so Americans can go through the list. They can stack up all the things he talked about, foreign policy, energy, the economy, crime, immigration, all of it. Look where we were and look where we are now under Joe Biden. Which do you prefer? And CNN had a poll recently finding that 55% of Americans now view Donald Trump's presidency as a success. Now, to win over those undecided voters, he also needs to look toward the future and convince those voters that not only was the past better, but the future can be as well. Which I think he did tonight.
And what does he do? He goes in and he tries to neutralize the best thing Democrats have, which is the abortion debate. I mean, that they think that's their best issue, and he goes in and he tries to neutralize it. I don't know how effective it is, but I don't think it turns his base away.
Well, it'll certainly be interesting. There'll be talk this week, as we saw with Vice President talk with Haley. We know Haley is out, but that does it for us tonight. We will see you back here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern for the big weekend show. We won't have a live event hopefully that night, and we'll all be there. Life, Liberty, and Levin starts right now.
Hello, America. I'm Mark Levin, and this is Life, Liberty, and Levin Saturday. Welcome with 2 great guests, Eric Trump and the president of Hillsdale College, Larry Arnn. But before we get to our guests, America, we have a problem on our hands. Oh, I know you know, but a really big problem on our hands. We have a president of the United States who is a mobster, who embraces the Marxists, the Islamists, who embraces their anti-Semitism, who rejects Americanism. He shows it every day. It is really horrendous. But I really want to focus in on a couple issues this evening. One is the betrayal of the Jewish people in Israel, and the other is the autocratic attack on President Trump. Biden, the Democrat Party, the Marxists and the Islamists, all one, have betrayed the Jews. They're betraying Israel. They're spreading blood libels all over this country and all over the world about how Israel is protecting itself. I don't care what Joe Biden says at sacred ground at the Holocaust Museum and Memorial. He's a liar. He's a known liar. He's a psychopath. He says one thing and he does another. He has renewed these ancient blood libels against Jews. He's painted the Jewish state as a genocidal and oppressive state. He's incited a massive spread of Jew hatred and anti-Semitism throughout our universities, in fact, throughout the planet. He has emboldened Iran, Hamas, and the terrorists worldwide with his public comments. I fear he has signed a death warrant for the hostages because Hamas now knows it can do whatever it wants to the Jews, to the hostages, in any way they wish. And Joe Biden will ensure their survival. The leaders of Hamas, their money, and their 4 big battalions. Nobody is defending them more vociferously than Joe Biden. He's also signed this death warrant with the hostages while pretending he cares about them. He cares about the hostages? Does he care about the people he left behind in Afghanistan, Americans? Does he care about the Americans on the southern border and what's happening to them? Not at all. Biden has spent half a century playing the Jewish people, and he has done so every step of the way by pretending he's a Zionist, that he supports Israel, while undermining it, and undermining strong prime ministers, from Menachem Begin to Netanyahu. His policies as president include attempting to remove the elected government of Israel, empowering Israel's main enemy, Iran, with billions and billions of dollars so it can arm up. He won't even attack them verbally the way he attacks Netanyahu and that government. And of course, he is doing more to destroy the state of Israel and even Israel's enemies. You know, it's one thing when you have these Islamist mass murdering genocidal monsters who are out of the closet saying what they say. It's quite another when you've relied on an ally who uses propaganda, the American press, the world press, who organize the world against you, who goes to the Holocaust Museum speaking out against anti-Semitism. That is a vile individual with evil intent. And that is Joe Biden today. Now, Biden's arms embargo against Israel is almost complete. Not just the 2,000-pound bombs called JDAM munitions, but also 500-pound bombs and so-called mini JDAM, Joint Direct Attack munitions, which convert smaller unguided bombs into precision bombs. He's also embargoing small diameter bombs, and most devastating, they're also sitting on a huge order of the most important munitions of all, tank shells and mortar rounds, which Israel bought years ago. The extent of the embargo against the Jews in Israel by Biden is extensive. Just a few weeks ago, Iran launched the biggest drone and ballistic missile attack in the history of the world against the state of Israel. Hezbollah every day is firing hundreds and hundreds of rockets that were produced in Iran and paid for Iran against the state of Israel. Israel is still taking incoming attacks from Hamas, which is also funded by Iran, Qatar, and the others. Israel is under attack from 3 enemies simultaneously, and Biden now embargoes the arms that Jews need to defend themselves. But they have the enemy surrounded, Hamas, and he is protected. And I said, he signed a death warrant for those hostages. He is responsible for October 7th. He and Lincoln paid for it, for the monies that have gone to Iran. Making sure that Iran has got more money than Ukraine, Taiwan, and Israel combined. I want you to think about it. So this embargo, I want to remind you that an embargo of this kind, for policy reasons, is an impeachable offense.
I'm on it.
First of all, we have the confession from Joe Biden himself, saying what he is doing, and thereby confessing to an impeachable offense. Go.
I made it clear that if they go into Rafah, they haven't gone to Rafah yet. If they go into Rafah, I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah. that deal with the cities, that deal with that problem. I've made it clear to people in the war camp, they're not going to get our support if in fact they go on these population centers. We're not walking away from Israel's security, or Israel's ability to wage war in those areas.
So it's not over your red line yet?
Not yet, but we've held up the weapons. We've held up the one shipment, and there's a mole shipment design. We held that up.
He's a liar. He's holding up more than one shipment. You're Hamas, you're listening to this, and what are you thinking? We're safe. We kill the hostages, keep torturing and raping them. We're not giving up any hostages, ever. Joe Biden has our back. Joe Biden's ensuring that the people who ordered the slaughter, the genocide against the Jews will be protected. He's ensured that their money will keep flowing because he's in bed with Qatar. I think his brother was even doing business with some people. Qatar has a horrendous human rights record, which Joe Biden never talks about. It kills people, it tortures people, it enslaves people. So does Jordan. Jordan has a horrendous human rights record. It kills people, it tortures people, it enslaves people, imprisons political opponents. The king of Jordan, a pretend king of a pretend country that was created in 1947-48, he put his stepbrother in prison. Look at Egypt, the military dictatorship. Look at their human rights records, the killings, the imprisonment, the rounding up of Christians and so forth and so on. You never hear squat about any of it. And of course, Biden's best friend, for whom Blinken is a special pleader, Iran, their human rights record is atrocious. Again, Biden is funding that regime. No. The elected Israeli government, the people of Israel, they're the genocidal maniacs. This blood libel against the Jews is an ancient blood libel that Biden is spewing, that Blinken is spewing, that Thomas Friedman and the New York Times are spewing, that the Stalinist Bernie Sanders is spewing, that the Marxist, Islamist, Jew hater, American hater, Tlaib, and the other thugs in her group are spewing, the American media are spewing. That the withholding of funds, that's called impounding funds. And it's an impeachable offense. I want to show you a graphic from Joe Biden, October 18, 2019. President Trump withheld congressionally appropriated aid to Ukraine unless they granted him a political favor. The definition of a quid pro quo. This is no joke. Trump continues to put his own personal political interests ahead of the national interest. He must be impeached. Well, Joe Biden, in addition to his long-held anti-Semitism, where he's been playing the Jews for half a century, politics plays a main role in everything. Power that Biden does. Everybody knows it. That's why he kowtows to the imams, to the Jew haters. Why he takes so long to even address them. That he does nothing about them. He hasn't told his Democrat billionaire funders, the dark money, to stop funding these groups and organizations, has he? No. He hasn't told the FBI to shut down the foreign money coming into this country to push this anti-Semitism, anti-Americanism on our college campuses from his friends in Qatar and his friends in communist China, has he? No. He didn't send the U.S. Marshals to a single college campus. The way Eisenhower sent the military, the way John Kennedy sent the military to ensure that little black kids could go to school with little white kids, to integrate our school system, which, by the way, Joe Biden opposed. He said he opposed. He didn't say we're insisting that Jewish kids can go on campus free of threats and violence, can go to class free of threats and violence, can attend their graduates. No, he didn't send the U.S. Marshals there. They're all busy with Donald Trump, of course. But this empowerment issue is an impeachable offense. And he just confessed to what he's doing. For the GAO report, January 16, 2020, that Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer relied on. It's right here. December 2019, the Office of Management of Budget withheld from obligation funds appropriated to the Department of Defense for security assistance to Ukraine. This is when they were going after Trump. In order to withhold the funds, OMB issued a series of 9 apportionment schedules with footnotes that made all unobligated balances unavailable for obligation. Faithful execution of the law does not permit the president to substitute his own policy priorities for those that Congress has enacted into law. OMB withheld funds for a policy reason. That's exactly what Biden is doing. I don't want them going to the right. Excuse me. You're not only not a dictator in America, you're not a dictator in Israel, which is not permitted under the Empowerment Control Act, ICA, actually was passed in 1974. The withholding was not a programmatic delay. Therefore, we conclude that OMB violated the ICA, aka violated federal law. An issue in this decision is whether OMB had authority, OMB working for the president, to withhold the USAI funds for obligation. That is funds to Ukraine. They explained the Constitution specifically vests Congress with the power of the purse, providing that, quote, no money shall be drawn from the Treasury but in consequence of appropriations made by law. Article 1, Section 9, Clause 7. The Constitution also vests all legislative powers in Congress and sets forth the procedures of bicameralism and present through which the president may accept or veto a bill passed by both houses of Congress. Congress may subsequently override a presidential veto. Instead, he must faithfully execute the law as Congress enacts it. Article 2, Section 3, Clause 1. An Appropriations Act is a law like any other. Therefore, unless Congress has enacted a law providing otherwise, the president must take care to ensure that the appropriations are prudently obligated during the period of availability. The Constitution grants the president no unilateral authority to withhold funds from obligations. The ICA does not permit deferrals for policy reasons. OMB's justification for withholding falls squarely within the scope of an impermissible policy deferral. Thus, the deferral of USIA funds was improper under the Act. It is under the law. Here is Article 3, Section 3, Clause 1. Called the Take Care Clause. We've talked about this many times with respect to that, and we keep violating the Constitution. The President shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed. Is that what Joe Biden is doing? Donald Trump, who they're trying to throw in prison for nothing. Their cases are falling apart one after the other, but still, it's the process that's the issue. He put out a statement the other day, crooked Joe Biden, whether he knows it or not, just said he will withhold weapons from Israel as they fight to eradicate Hamas terrorists in Gaza. Hamas murdered thousands of innocent civilians, including babies, and are holding Americans hostage. But the hostages are still alive. Joe is taking the side of these terrorists, just like he has sided with the radical mobs taking over our college campuses, because his donors are funding them. Biden is weak, corrupt, and leading the world straight into World War III. Remember, this war in Israel, just like the war in Ukraine, would have never started if I was in the White House. But very soon, we will be back, and once again demanding peace through strength. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden's doing everything humanly possible to prevent that too. Now here's some relatively good news. The case in Manhattan has been fully exposed, except of course to the Democrat Party grifters and the never-Trumpers, but to most rational, objective human beings, is a colossal joke, a disaster. I'm not sure who the porn star actually is in that courtroom, whether it's Stormy Daniels or the judge. To be perfectly honest with you, you must enjoy hearing what Stormy Daniels has to say, because otherwise there was no basis for anything she had to say to be allowed in that court. He's the judge. If he allowed it, he'd listen to every word. You know, we used to call that, where I'm coming from, a pervert. I dare not call a judge a pervert. This case is perverse. This case is pornography. And whether they get a conviction or not, the fact of the matter is they convicted themselves. It's a disaster. What's happened in Florida? We have a real judge in Florida, Judge Aileen Cannon. There have been motions filed on whether or not the so-called special counsel, Jack Smith, was unconstitutionally appointed. No less than two former attorneys general, Attorney General Edwin Meese under Reagan and Attorney General Mike Mukasey under Bush, have filed Friends of the Court brief saying his appointment violated the Constitution of the United States, the Appointments Clause. You can't just pick anybody and not run them through Congress and the process of having a nominee confirmed to conduct a trial for cases like this. And that's exactly what's happened here. There's no delegation authority. He's not a former U.S. attorney or anything like that. Instead, he's just picked up from The Hague. Those are serious questions. There's a motion questioning whether this is unequal treatment. That's important. She's going to hear that. There's a motion on whether or not they pressured a witness and a witness's lawyer. That's going to be reviewed. And, of course, the spoliation of documents. Document case, and the government mishandled the document. So now that's going to be looked into. In the case in Georgia, an appellate court said, wait a minute, there are a lot of issues here with respect to Connie, a.k.a. Fannie Willis, and her conduct, but whether or not she should be allowed to conduct that case, that's now on appeal. And of course, the Supreme Court is looking at the issue of immunity, which you shouldn't even have to look to, but for the fact that the unconstitutionally appointed Smith has pushed the Constitution to its limits, going after Donald Trump for actions he took as president, which in my view were perfectly legal, but now to criminalize the campaign system, the entire system, so nobody actually knows how to even run a campaign or challenge the results of elections anymore, as we did in 1876 and beyond. And so that's now being examined too. Why all these court cases? Why all these issues? Because Joe Biden is behind this too. Joe Biden is a monster. Joe Biden will do anything for power. Joe Biden will do anything to enrich himself. He is a monster. What he's doing to the state of Israel and the Jewish people, while pretending otherwise, is grotesque. While he is enhancing the power of Hamas, but he gave the Israelis weapons. But when Israel is ready to destroy Hamas, he's withheld the weapons. He hasn't stopped funding Iran, which is funding Hamas, funding Hezbollah and the Houthis. He hasn't stopped funding the PLO. This is who Joe Biden is. This is what Joe Biden is doing. With respect to Trump, his guy was in charge of the case involving the businesses and trying to bankrupt Trump. Now we know that judge was all conflicted. That's being investigated now. His boys behind the case in Manhattan. We see what that's all about. It's a grotesque miscarriage of justice. The humiliation of the United States of America. His boy, the special counsel, another Democrat appointed by the Attorney General of the United States, he's all over the place, slashing and burning and shredding the Constitution as fast as he possibly can. Joe Biden is a contemptible street hack politician who's destroying our justice system, who's destroying our border and our sovereignty, who's destroying our economic system, who's destroying our voting system, who's trying to destroy our ally, to destroy its leader, Netanyahu, in the state of Israel. This is what's going on in the country today. I'll be right back.
When enamel is gone, you cannot get it back, but you can repair it with Pronamel Repair. It penetrates deep into the tooth to actively repair acid-weakened enamel. I recommend Pronamel Repair. With new Pronamel Repair mouthwash, you can enhance that repair beyond brushing. They work great together.
Doctors recommend Colgate Stool Softener for gentle, dependable relief from constipation. It's so gentle, doctors even recommend it during pregnancy and after surgery. Colgate increases water in the stool, making it softer so it's easier to go. No more laxatives, cramping, or straining. Colgate.
I'm Richard Carr, and I love my hose. It ain't those old hoses. It's the new pocket hose copper bullet infused with real copper. Turn on the water, and it grows to a full-size hose. Turn off the water, and it shrinks back to a pocket-sized hose with layered latex inside and a polymer jacket outside. It's 3 times stronger. Order your pocket hose copper bullet today and get the thumb drive spray nozzle free. Hurry, order now. I tried a bunch of different probiotics before season.
And they didn't help. It addressed my bloating and my irregularity.
It's really helping my daily bowel movements and keeping me pretty regular. I started feeling better, less bloated, felt better, lighter. I just keep going back to see because it actually worked.
Now I walk around smiling every day because I don't get bloated anymore.
Hey, Emma.
You need a mattress, right?
Yeah.
Been doing a little research.
Little?
The Sofa Classic has 2 layers of springs that contour to your body.
Nice.
It has a 3-inch Euro pillow top, Dan, and it's surprisingly affordable.
But I just wanted to know about dinner.
Sofa. Luxury mattresses made of wood.
When you can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening.
Sky Ranger deployed. We're in the pipe. 5 by 5.
We just got word the aliens are hitting a resistance outpost with everything they've got. Our people don't stand a chance against them. We're heading in to secure the area. Eliminate all enemy contacts.
Reading a story program. Reading stories to them. That's very good. Thank you for your support. It allows our therapy guys to
Menace 1-5. Hostile forces are attacking the outpost. Eliminate all enemy units and protect those civilians. Advent came in hot, and so did we. You won't have a concealed position.
Save this for sure. And we'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace.